Bean, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? So it is a huge day for my brothers and sisters in Saudi Arabia. For the first time in 35 years, there's gonna be a cinema, like a public screening, like movies shown to everyone. And the film they've picked to launch the cinema in Saudi is, of course, one of the year's big successes, Black Panther.
Show me my respect. And bow down.
Wakanda! I mean, Black Panther just seems to be racking up all the milestones, right? Box office milestones, representation milestones. Now it's the first film to drop the veil on film in Saudi. Now, just as a small personal aside, I think Black Panther is a good movie. It's a good Marvel movie. It's not a great film. I mean, it's not Nolan's Batman. It's not Logan. Feels. But Black Panther is part of a great movement, and that's the movement to have better representation, new faces, new stories told in cinema and media in general, in comics, right? If you are of African descent, if you are black, anywhere in the world, that film really touches you. This is that film. This is the film that you can celebrate, that you can take your kids, your family to, and just really feel inspired. But as the father of 2 Arab sons, where are our Arab superheroes? Growing up, my heroes were Batman, Spider-Man, with a little sprinkling of anime. Like everywhere else in the world, the superheroes that we're into are, well, the ones everyone else is into, right? We too love truth, justice, and the American way. They changed that last one in the comic, right? Yeah, probably for the best. And generally the Arabs were the supervillains in comics, right? You have people like Black Adam, you have people like Mount Farouk, Shadow King. Who else is like totally into Legion, by the way?
Yes, of course I'm your friend. Come on, it's just... I'm Betsy Tough Love, your mean friend.
I never thought I could enjoy being mentally abused so much by a show. Now in season 1 of Legion, Mount Farouk is being played by a guy in a fat suit and Aubrey Plaza. Now I love Aubrey Plaza. She is amazing, put her in everything. Aubrey is babe. But Egyptian, she's not. Now they seem to have remedied this in season 2, putting Middle Eastern actor Naveed Negaban in the role, so that's great, but still, it was a little disappointing in season 1. Now, with Black Adam, he's actually getting a big screen film, right? Amazing, fantastic, Arab character, big screen, awesome. Except, it's played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who is not an Arab or of Arab descent. And don't get me wrong, Dwayne is the biggest movie star in the world. He's also the biggest man in the world. I think that's official, that's canon, right? I feel like Hollywood kind of thinks that you got a tan going on, you're pretty much ethnic. And if you're ethnic, you can do Indian, Pakistani, Arab, Latino. It's all the same, right guys? And it's also not the first time that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has been cast as an Arab in a movie. Of course, we have the Scorpion King from The Mummy 2, and of course, the Scorpion King movie. Now switching into the hero camp, I mean, primarily Arabs are seen as bit players, they're the sidekicks, right? They're the ethnic version of a more established white character. So you have someone like Night Runner, who is a really interesting character from the Batman Inc. run. A young Muslim man in Paris trying to grasp with the two sides of, Islamic extremism and right-wing isolationism, prejudice, racism, all that stuff. But he's known as the Batman of Paris. He's not allowed to have his own identity, which again basically makes him subservient to the more established white Caucasian Bruce Wayne. It's not really the Arab hero we're looking for. Which brings us to arguably one of the most well-known Arabs in comics, of course Simon Baz, the Green Lantern, created by Jeff Johns. Oh, and just as a quick aside, I have to take this moment, shout out to Saint Jeff, the patron of the greatest Green Lantern run of all time. It will never be equaled, it will never be surpassed. And also, Sinestro, best Green Lantern. That's right, no, best Lantern period. Ends totally justify the means, and no one else quite rocks Widow Peak chic like that guy. But back on topic, again, to Simon Baz. I love that Jeff harnessed some of his Lebanese roots to create this character that gives a certain personal stake, authenticity, fantastic. And also, totally on board with his origin. If an Arab or a Muslim got superpowers in the US today, 100% people would think they're a terrorist. However, once again, he appears, has his brief moment in the spotlight, and is once again quickly overshadowed by Hal Jordan, the whitest Lantern. And also, just why does he have a gun? I mean, he literally has a ring that can conjure up anything he can imagine. Like, what is the gun going to do? Other than, of course, it makes him look more terroristy. I know he gave it up recently. I know he gave it to Batman. Once again, thank you, white Bruce Wayne for coming in and telling us young Arabs how to be heroes. And look, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with taking an established character and making him a different ethnicity, right? Like, Marvel arguably has done that much better, I'd say, than DC. Like, you have Iron Man, of course, Captain America, Spider-Man. I would argue in Spider-Man's case with Miles Morales, that character is just as beloved now, maybe as Peter Parker. I think the key thing here is he's not just a darker reskin, he's a character with his own wants, desires, and history. He's getting that new awesome animated film. Felicitaciones, mis amigos latinos! How was that? It was bad. You can be honest, it was bad. So, to bring all this back home, why are Arabs not more readily represented in comics, or in media, actually, in general? Well, to be honest, it's because we don't make Hollywood enough money. Yet. See, Saudi Arabia, back to the original point, is going to be a market of around $1 billion by 2030, making it the 10th largest market in the world. So, that means we're making money. And if we're making money, then we get to be represented. You may wonder, of course, why we see so many Chinese faces in Western films these days. China's the biggest film market in the world. Whew, feels good to get that out. In fact, you already see this in video games and representation, right? You have Arabic language tracks everywhere, you see Arab characters suddenly being represented because Saudi Arabia is a top 20 video game retail market. Again, that's globally. Thanks, guys. So that's why you see us dive kicking our way into series like Overwatch, Tekken, King of Fighters, Assassin's Creed, Street Fighter. It's because we make the money. So now we get to be part of the story. But back to the comics, the other element is we are woefully underrepresented when it comes to writers in comics, Arab writers. So even with Black Panther, okay? Black Panther, of course, was created by two New Yorkers of Jewish descent. It was only, I would argue, when ta-nehisi Coates, I'm pretty sure I butchered his name, wrote his run, that it became an authentic, inspirational icon that is now breaking all these records. The reality is we cannot rely on other people to tell our story. We have our own history, our myths, our legends, our visions of a utopian region where we all get along, we're not embroiled in eternal conflict. That same way we saw African futurism in Black Panther, we want to see Arab futurism. We have our own children to inspire. So if you have a story, please tell it. Don't wait, go do it. Like now, go. My children will thank you when in the future they open up that comic reader or fire up that Netflix or turn on that implanted AR chip in their eyes that we're all gonna have. It is coming, it is real, be afraid. And they see that vision, that hero of truth, justice, and the Arabian way.